it's been a while since I posted anything, and so this time I'm actually going to look into installing a iPhone 12 mount for my beloved 85 4Runner. There's not a whole lot of accessories out there, so it might be a combination of me MacGyvering something for a mount. Um, so essentially what I'm going to be doing once we get into the cab would be to install like one of these guys onto the dash and have the charging MagSafe on it so that I could just slap it on the dashboard, and hopefully that'll work out. So let's see how that goes, and it'll be fun, I think, to see how it turns out. Okay, so here we are inside the dash of the 4Runner, and I currently have one of these magnetic things that's on the air vent, which is very typical. For me, it doesn't really work that well. It sort of bounces off a lot. And so what I'm thinking about is actually installing a direct mount onto maybe the side of this guy right here. And then we can actually just slap on the phone and then have the wire inside the dash going to the cigarette lighter, which is where we're going to put a charging adapter. So the idea here is actually to use one of these mounts. This one in particular is made for Subaru, but I'm thinking that with this configuration I might be able to actually install it onto this side and then do a ball mount at the end that will hold a MagSafe adapter and then hide the wires. Okay, I don't know if you viewers are actually doing the math there, but when I actually did say this is a 1985 4Runner, yes, it's 36 years old. So there's not a lot of tutorials on a 36-year-old truck. It's definitely a throwback. So remember to remove all the screws that's around this dash area. I will remove it from the bottom as well. The idea is that I'm going to take out this entire instrument cluster shroud to get to this joint for that mount. So keep in mind, if there's also any wiring that's added on, any switches, then just be careful about any slack that might be holding the shroud back. So I noticed a couple of wire harnesses on the back, which I had already unplugged. So I should be able to lift this guy out altogether now. Alright. Whoa. Nice. So with the cluster panel shroud removed on the bench here, I'm going to remove these screws along the perimeter to separate it to get to the seam. This seam right here, in order to put the mount on and also to wire the MagSafe charger. And what I'm trying to do is separate the seam right here and put this mount onto it. It's like a U channel right now. Like I said, it's made for Subaru, but I'm going to DIY the thing and place it right there. Actually, might even be okay like that too. But I have a feeling that the geometry works better that Just like that. Okay. So I'm going to route out a little bit of the back side of this to accommodate for the metal bracket. I cut off a little bit of it already, like around here. Okay, so you notice that there's a little notch right here. Basically, it's to accommodate for that metal bracket that's a little bit in the way. I'm probably gonna sand it down just a little bit, but no one's really gonna notice it. It's on the inside. I guess it's called the inside corner. All right, so this is the notch that I had Dremel tooled out. You kind of see it, right? I sanded it a little bit more. Just gives it a little breathing room so that that bracket can kind of sit in there nicely. So you can see the mount's actually sitting pretty good right now. I think if you kind of came to this side a little bit, kind of see like it's sitting pretty good between these two seams. I'll show you the other side of it, the back side of it, and the reason why I had cut out that slot. So you notice in the back, that's basically where the metal bracket is. So that's where we had sanded it down or trimmed off that piece. So what actually I'm going to do right now is I'm probably going to drill a hole for the Apple MagSafe charger that we're going to install. So this cable right here is going to mount onto that ball with the adapter, and then we're going to have this wire basically sitting in between the two seams, I would think. So I'm going to give it a little bit of relief right at that joint. Went ahead and put in the MagSafe charging cable. I notched the plastic a little bit just to give it some relief for the cable itself. I'm going to flip it over and you can kind of see it. I know it's maybe a little bit hard to imagine what's going on right now, but so let's just say that you are facing the dash and you have this ball, right? You have the MagSafe. So how are you going to put the MagSafe onto this ball joint? Well, on the magic of Amazon, there's a little adapter here that you could actually attach onto the ball joint. And so what I'll send you a link so you don't need to like worry about where to get it. Basically put the MagSafe onto your plastic adapter. There's a little notch there for the cable, the line. So now you have the MagSafe that fits perfectly onto this plastic adapter. You push this through to the ball joint, snaps, and then on the bottom you thread it with the screw. Just remember to put the screw on before you snap the charging adapter onto it. And so you can position it however way you want to. And if I grab a phone, I can kind of show you how it'll look. Cut it off there. Okay, so with the dash trim off, it's probably a good time to just clean up some stuff, right? Because it hasn't been cleaned in 36 years in terms of when it came out of the factory. Okay, so I kind of put in the cable. Like I said, we're going to route it over to the cigarette lighter. So for the time being, we're going to plug all these wiring harnesses back. Okay, so that's empty. Gets put back together again. I hate seeing wiring, so like I said, we'll route this down to the cigarette lighter. Oops. There you go. Baby's charging. So it seems to be working pretty well. You know, my truck's a little bit stiff, so the ride's a little bit more bumpy, but it's staying on pretty well. So if you like the stuff that I do, you gotta hit that subscribe button. I could use some subscribers, and I was basically trying to make this truck relevant, this 36-year-old truck with a wireless charging for your iPhone 12.